Looks like we're ready. And Barbara's on the phone again. Oops.
Turn on your microphones.
Hey, Barbara, are you there? We're ready to go.
I am here. I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Meeting will come to order. This is the Cache County Council meeting. Today's Tuesday, August 10th. We welcome you to this meeting and this exciting day. We're going to select a new county attorney. I'm sure there's lots of fingernail biting going on right now on both ends. Anyway, we welcome you today, and we'll start with an opening from Councilman Nolan Gunnell.
My opening comments will be in the form of a prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before Thee this day and give Thee thanks for this country and those men and women who have fought valiantly and sacrificed so much for our freedoms. May we forever remember their sacrifices and not take lightly those things which they fought so valiantly for our freedom and peace which we have in this land. We pray that we may uphold that and do our duties and be found serving as we should. We pray that this evening we may be found serving again and doing the right things. We appreciate those who have come to this meeting. We appreciate those who serve and protect us in this land and distant lands, and pray for their efforts. We give thanks for all that we have, and this we say and do so in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Now if you join me and stand in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Nolan. The next item of business is review and approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And I apologize, I forgot to mention that Councilwoman Barbara Tidwell is joining us by phone tonight. So she will be voting and speaking from phone. Okay, the next item is review and approval of the minutes. And Council, I had some changes that are kind of wordy to make and wondered if anyone would make a motion to delay these until the next meeting in order for me to put those in writing.
I move to delay approval of the minutes of July 27th and August 3rd until the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to postpone approving the minutes of the 27th of July and the 3rd of August until our next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We now move to the report of our county executive, David Zook. David?
All right, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Just a couple of items to report on. I'll start with the fun item. The fair is here. Hope everybody has an opportunity to enjoy the Cache County Fair over the next few days. We've got a great lineup of entertainment, animals, fun, rides. It's going to be a good event, so hope everybody can have an opportunity to go out and see that. You have your expense report, July 2021 expense report warrant register that is here for your approval. We pass that down to the chair, please. And another item, there was an open house here in this room last night, and there was another one earlier in the day. I made it to the evening version, and FEMA and the Division of Emergency Management from the state are working on updating our flood maps for the county. And this was mentioned briefly last time by our Public Works Director, but I just would like to reiterate this for any of our residents in our county who currently are listed in a floodplain. Almost 500 structures in our county are being taken out of the floodplain by this update to their maps. And that means those people aren't going to have to pay flood insurance anymore. It's going to be a big benefit to those people. So I think if you have a chance to talk about this to people, it's a good thing for a lot of our residents. Almost 500 structures being removed. So that information is out there. We'll be posting it on our website too, and it's good news for everybody. Today we spent most of the day, several of us, doing interviews for our new public defender manager. And I just want to thank the council for your support of that position and of that change and improvement in that office. We had some great candidates for that position. It's going to be really tough for us to narrow it down, but I'd love to, if there are any of you who are interested in the second round of interviews, I'd love to invite a couple of you to participate in interviewing that public defender manager position. The next item I have, I was invited also this morning to a meeting with Senator Chris Wilson. He was meeting with the Water District, with the Nathan Dowgs, who runs our Water District. The state legislature has their ARPA money and other funds that they are looking to spend on water infrastructure, and that's why the senator wanted to meet with the Water District about water infrastructure. We had a good discussion about some of our priorities related to that, and where those reservoirs might be built. If you're not up to speed on what the proposals are related to the Bear River Development Act and how that water is being proposed to be stored, the current proposal, I think, is something that's not advantageous for our county, and the Water District seems to agree with that position. So we both, the Water District and I, advocated that we have reservoirs built on our side, uphill from the ones that are currently being proposed. So we had a good meeting, and our Senator Chris Wilson is a good advocate for us on that. And the last item, two more items actually. Councilmember Zillis asked if we could have a report from our mosquito abatement districts, and I've reached out to both of them, and they are both willing to come and give a report. In some areas of the county, it seems like there's been a pretty bad problem this year, which is kind of interesting because it's been so dry. And so Councilmember Zillis asked if we could get a report from them. Reach out to both. They're both willing to do that. I've spoken with Council Chair Gina Worthen about getting them on the agenda. So we'll have them coming in here and giving a report. So if you want to start thinking about that topic, come up with some good questions.
We've never had a mosquito abatement report to us, and yet we pay a lot of money and fight mosquitoes, and I think it would be wise that we go ahead and ask them to come and be able to question them and ask them.
Absolutely, it's a great idea.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. And the last item I have is related to the pandemic and masking. I was contacted by the health department, the director of the health department. He has been receiving a lot of pressure from county residents to mandate masks in the schools when school goes back into session. He asked me what, he wanted to get some insight into what the county's position was on that. I told him that I thought the county council would not be supportive of that, but I told him I would check with you to make sure I had the right opinion there. So if any of you think differently, let me know and I'll pass that on to him. But I told him that I did not think the county council would be supportive of him issuing a mask mandate for schools. Just so you know, the way the legislation that was passed by our state legislature last year related to this does give him the authority to issue a mask mandate in certain circumstances. However, he has to notify me, and I have 72 hours in which I can veto that. If I don't, then the county council could also rescind it afterwards. So if something like that were to happen, you would have the opportunity to rescind it if I didn't prior to that. You also could extend it if you wanted to. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. If you have any thoughts one way or the other, I'll be happy to pass those back to the health department. But he is planning a response to the residents who've been reaching out to him requesting this. But as of right now, it sounds like he is not intending to issue any additional mask mandate. And if you have input, he'd love to hear it. That concludes my report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I spoke with him last week and I asked him if he was anticipating issuing one, and he said he was not. So, but I think if the rest of the council's like me, we've had emails begging for one and begging for us not to do one, and so we've been getting those emails as well. And And the take on it, I didn't understand that the executive could veto that, because my understanding was it had to go to the county legislative body in the law that I was reading today. So that's a new one for me, but I know for me, I will not. I think, to Nolan's prayer today, the freedom that we have in this country is vital, and I don't believe that we should be mandating masks. Let people take personal responsibility as they see fit. I don't know if the rest of the council wants to comment on that, but I am adamantly against mandating masks.
Over the past year, I think it's been very plain that the council is not in support of it, so unless someone else wants to speak up, I think we're all behind you.
Speaking up.
Paul might have to change your heart.
That's okay. Maybe he doesn't want to say something, so that's fine.
Well, we're working on mask. I think what I'll say is I did watch Angela Dunn's presentation to the Salt Lake County Commission. Council, sorry. I would love to have her come up and make a presentation to us where we can ask her some questions. I'll just say that.
On the floodplain, several of the council attended that meeting yesterday, and I found it really interesting that they have a link that you can click on and just see how your property is affected and what changes are made, and wonder, can we get that on the website so that's easy for people to find?
I asked them to send me the electronic version of all of their documents so that we can post it, so we'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Executive Zook, for your report. Okay, we will now move to item number 6, items of special interest, appointment of the Cache County Attorney. And before we start, so I don't forget, I want to just thank our candidates for being willing to put their name out there, put their hat in the ring, and go through this process. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks, and I know that that's hard and get some angst. I know they've all worked hard to provide the council with information and talk to us about what their thoughts are and answer any questions that we had. So I just want to thank each of them for being willing to go through this and for making it a hard decision, because we have some great people working for us, some great candidates. So thank you. So what we'll do tonight is I invited each of the candidates to be able to give us up to a 3-minute statement to the council if they so wish. I assume they all do. And to make it fair, I put their names in a cup. Janine watched me. She knows that they're just the 3 names, and they're all each of the candidates, just to be sure. And then I'll have Carl draw out the order for speaking. And then after the speeches, council, we can discuss if you so desire. We cannot go into closed session to talk about this per state law. And also our vote has to be a voice vote, a roll call vote on who we want to select. And so that I also don't forget to mention, sometimes when we'll vote, I anticipate one motion for one person, so there'll probably be some no's if someone wants a different person. Please don't take it personal. We think you're all great. It's not no, we don't want that person. It's, I'm for another person. So it's not that we're against you. It's that we're for a different candidate. So hopefully that'll help you know that we think the world of all of you. So, Carl?
Harry Potter, no. Jacob Gordon.
So Jake, you'll be first.
That in the movie.
Dane Murray.
Dane will be
And
second.
that leaves John Luthie. I'm sure that's what it says.
Yeah, just check me on that.
John Luthie. Yep.
Hey.
So Jacob, Dane, and John.
Yep. So Jake, if you want to come up to the mic, and Janine will be our timer again. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Thank you. Members of the County Council, I love living and working in Cache County. It is a great place to live. It is a great place to raise a family, and I'm very grateful for the people that live here. I would love the opportunity to serve as the county attorney because I believe I have the experience, leadership ability, and judgment to protect the county from liability and provide safety for county residents. As to civil issues that come to the county, timely and accurate advice is needed on legal issues affecting departments and the county council. It is in this way that the county is protected from costly liability, and it keeps people safe. It is here that applies the old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. However, it's inevitable that there will be lawsuits brought against the county, and for those, constant and attentive care should be taken to see those disputes through to an advantageous conclusion for the county. All of this requires that the county attorney be available, knowledgeable, and responsive to the needs of the county. I'm prepared to meet those needs, be available, and to have the requisite knowledge to advise our county officials. On the criminal side, I subscribe to a statement made by Justice George Sutherland of the United States Supreme Court. In relation to prosecutors, he states the prosecutor, quote, is the representative not of an ordinary party to a controversy, but of a sovereignty whose obligation to govern impartially is as compelling as its obligation to govern at all, and whose interest, therefore, in a criminal prosecution is not that it shall win a case, but that justice shall be done. Close quote. We have a great group of attorneys, legal assistants, and victim advocates in our office that should be supported in seeking out and doing justice. While it is true that the Justice Reinvestment Initiative has made many things difficult in the criminal world, we can use the helpful and positive portions of it to help our community lower the crime rate, help victims of crime seek justice, and ensure county residents are kept safe while we work for better solutions than JRI now provides. Members of the council, if the work of the county attorney was easy and the issues he or she is called upon to weigh were simple, we could program a robot to do it. But the work is not easy, and the decisions that he or she is called upon to weigh are some of the most agonizing our society knows, civil and criminal. At the end of the day, every issue the county attorney deals with is made up of people, whether it's potential or current civil litigants, criminal defendants, or employees in the office itself. I'm confident in my experience listening to the needs of the people while upholding and sustaining the law. It's been an honor and a privilege getting to know all of you as we have navigated this process. I look forward to working with you in whatever capacity I am in going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Members of the council, you heard a lot from all of us last week. I'm just going to take this opportunity just to thank some people that I've talked to through this process. I appreciate all the time that the council's given me to just talk about the issues that Cache County is facing and the role of the attorney's office. I know we're all really busy, and I know meeting with me takes away from something else important that you'd all be doing, so I appreciate that. I also appreciate all the law enforcement officers who reached out to me and encouraged me both to put my name in for this and provided encouragement along the way. I appreciate President Davis from the Fraternal Order of the Police and their endorsement. The fact that law enforcement in this valley trusts my leadership enough to be county attorney means a lot to me, whether I'm chosen or not. That's something that I don't take for granted, and I hope to keep their trust. I also want to thank my family. I wouldn't have done this without the complete support of my wife. She has had more confidence in this at some times than I have, telling me that you are the right person for the job. She is my rock. I take the position of county attorney extremely seriously. I understand the county attorney represents the people of Cache County, both when a crime's committed and when there's some type of civil issue that arises. It's our responsibility to keep the county safe and to keep the county out of serious civil litigation that would cost our taxpayers money. That's something that I take very seriously. I hope to work with all of you in the future. And I'd just like to thank my coworkers who are here today, and I hope to provide leadership for them in the future as well. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Wayne.
2 years ago, I visited a village at the base of Mount Chasseral in Switzerland. 102 years ago, my grandfather Luthi left that village and immigrated, came through New York Harbor, past Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, and on to Logan, Utah. He and his wife bought a little adobe home on the north end of town. They raised chickens, a cow or pig or two a year, and 11 children. Initially, Grandpa worked some odd jobs here in town, including helping paint the original Bluebird building, or one next to it. And then he got on at the Thatcher Bank building on the corner of Center and Main. He worked there as a custodian for 50 years. During law school, I rode along with another of his grandsons, my cousin Mike Luthi, a career officer at the Provo Police Department. And I then took a job in criminal appeals at the Attorney General's office. As I mentioned last week, when Valerie and I moved back to Utah, we had to decide, in our minds at least, between a promising, really dream position of criminal appellate work in Salt Lake City and the practice of general law here in Cache Valley. We chose Cache Valley, and I haven't looked back. At the same time, I'm excited of the prospect of maybe being able to take that previously foregone step back into criminal work. You know our resumes. Tonight, I hope that you and others can feel of my commitment to my deep Cache Valley roots and to the important criminal prosecution work of the county attorney's office. That little adobe home isn't there anymore. There's a green gorilla car wash in its place. It's not the only home that's not there anymore. I remember the last evening our family spent in the home where my other grandparents lived for over 40 years on about 10th North and 2nd East, before Logan City exercised its eminent domain power and purchased the home and tore it down for a project that never quite happened as it had first been planned. Again, you've heard our respective visions for the civil work of the attorney's office. I hope tonight that you can feel of my appreciation for, one, the importance of careful planning for the inevitable growth that will continue to happen here in the valley, and two, for the responsibility to exercise the powers of elective office, the county attorney's office, with wisdom and humility. And in that spirit, I ask for the opportunity to fill that position. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, council, do you have any comments that you wish to make? Or
Just
don't
that
wish
you
to, just do it?
You guys aren't making this easy at all. I've honestly had some sleepless nights over this.
Well, it's not fun. I had to write down my thoughts so I can make sure I say it right. But I think we're fortunate to have three really qualified candidates. And while I agree with Carl that we had a lot of sleepless nights, I think I'm going to sleep well tonight, regardless of the outcome, because I have all the confidence in the world. And I know that each of my fellow council members are weighing the skills and qualifications of each candidate against what we feel are the future needs of the county. Most likely, we're all putting slightly different weights on what the future needs are compared to what the skills and abilities and experience of the candidates are, and are coming to slightly different conclusions. I've received some great counsel from people that I respect and had some really enjoyable conversations with the candidates. I'm so thankful for Jake and for Dane and for John for taking this opportunity to do it. I think they're fantastic. I'm glad they're a part of Cache County. However, that compliment's probably pretty thin gruel for 2 out of the 3 who will question my cognitive abilities. And for the folks that gave me some really good advice, they'll question, some of them will question if I listen very well. Others will think I'm a great listener. That being said, we got to make a tough decision. I don't know if I'm ready to make a motion if we want to, or do we want to have people talk? Okay.
Dave, do you have a comment?
You know, in my decision, or where I was leaning to, I looked at the valley, and my number one priority was safety. When someone feels safe, then they, I think everything else in life kind of comes together if they're feeling safe. And so to me, the number one priority was our public safety. Civilly, I think that is, to me, number two for the county and stuff. But I think there's a high priority in that, and there's a high need. But I did the evaluation myself as number one priority was safety. And that's where my nomination would be too.
Okay.
But if we wait, we'll wait on the nomination, let people talk.
Any other comments?
I'd like to make a comment, and that is, and I was very impressed with all three of the candidates. I had two of them in my home, and the other one I had on the phone for quite a while. But I was impressed with all three of them. I really felt that we had three very good candidates. I guess my basis is going to be a little bit different than what Dave's is. My basis is going to be quite a bit on, I witnessed that we have an excellent prosecution side in the county. There's no question it's one of the very best that possibly could be. Very, very weak in the civil side. And so I'm leaning to strength in the civil side, and I appreciate the enthusiasm of our two candidates that works on the criminal side, but I feel that right now, for what the county needs right now, we need to really buoy up the civil side of the county side. I guess we shouldn't pick and choose which side is the most important, because they're both important. But in visiting with James Swink this morning, he said that when he became the county attorney, Scott Wyatt told him to follow the thing that he did best. And of course, he was always on the criminal side, and he really put together a very strong criminal side. The civil side is not as strong as the criminal side, and so that's what I'm looking towards as to the way I think the county should go over the next few years. Is that we need to really put a lot of emphasis on the civil side, at the same time maintaining the criminal side of the county. And so that's kind of my comments as to how I view it.
Thank you. Barbara, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay.
I appreciate all three candidates, and I did appreciate meeting with them, so thank you to them for their time.
Thanks, Barbara. Nolan, did you want to say anything?
I'll say a quick word. Thanks to Jacob, Dane, and John for running. Appreciate your coming and talking to us. I appreciate those who have reached out to us through emails, phone calls, and chats about who they desire. I will give a shout out to the law enforcement. Gentlemen, thank you for your service. Thank you for your voicing of what you would like to see in there. I appreciate your service, and I believe our citizens do as well. And we need to make sure that our citizens feel that that safety is there, is what Dave talked about. I was just coming home from Florida, so I called Delta Airlines and asked if they could ship my flight till tonight, and then I could call in sick. So believe me, I've been plotting different things. So, but for those who do not make it a year from now, you can certainly petition and run and see what the citizen support are that way too. So that's a very good thing. I have weighed this heavily, and I'm like the others, sleepless nights and everything else. And I don't know if I'll sleep tonight, because I'll say all were qualified after I make my decision. So it still will weigh on me after that. So thank you for your participation. Thanks for all you do for all of you who are out there. And know that we tried our best to apply what we've known in our hearts and our minds and the people and those who have contacted us. It has helped. So thank you.
Thanks, Nolan. Carl, we got you, right?
Yep.
So I'll just add, this has been a really, really difficult decision for me, and I've gone back and forth, and it's been hard. These are really great candidates who I respect very much, and finally what it came down to for me was I agree with David Erickson about the public safety side, and they've made clear a preference that they have. I'm sure they will work well with anyone. I feel like I should back the blue, and especially in the climate we have today, I want the law enforcement to know that we listen to them. And so that's where I come down, although that was not a very easy decision, and I was up really late last night trying to figure that out. So that's where I'm at. So would any council member like to make a motion?
You started.
Well, I guess with the stipulation that we're voting for somebody and not against somebody, I'd like to propose that we select John Luthi as the next county attorney.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to choose John Luthi. Sorry, that was, I think the dog is on your side, John.
You got a third.
To select John Luthi as the
I don't know
next
if a
county
dog
attorney.
barks good or bad.
Is there any further discussion?
You may take other nominations, though.
I'm not clear on what you mean.
Well, I think we would vote,
It would
wouldn't
be
we?
a
And then if it
up or
doesn't
down?
pass, then it would.
We need 4 votes to pass. So if John gets four votes, then he will be the county attorney. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those who had selected someone else? Nay?
Nay.
Okay. John, congratulations, you are our new county attorney. And John, those of us who maybe had chosen someone else, you have our full support, I'm sure. And we will swear you in tomorrow at 12:30 here in this room, so that will be exciting. Please invite your family and your friends and anyone else. The rest of you are welcome to come and be part of that as you wish. So thank you very much. Okay, we will now.
It's the second time that I've had to do that, and it's not a fun situation.
It's not a fun.
It's not.
It is not fun.
It is hard. It is hard. Yeah, I think we're all glad that's over with. Okay, we'll now move to item number 7, the general plan update, development services. Lauren, thank you for being here, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you. I'll let people file out maybe for a second. A lot of pressure to go after that. My heart's beating and I wasn't even a candidate, so.
You can be the denouement.
I know, right?
Yes.
The thing that you gotta also remember is.
So my update tonight for the general plan is talking about our next round of public outreach for the project. So we'll be going to the public with an online questionnaire and a draft land use map that they can make comments on online. That survey or questionnaire is going to be based on our policy framework document that's been reviewed and approved. I guess given the blessing and corrections from our steering committee members. And I want to thank Council Nolan Gunnell and David Erickson. I know Barbara wanted to be there as well, but unfortunately it didn't work with her work schedule. But we had really great conversation with our steering committee meeting, and we're able to get through that document and make some great edits to it with getting it ready to go to the public. So the policy framework document is guided by our guiding principles, which you've seen these presented before. These were the items that we held our stakeholder discussions on back in June. So you can see the guiding principles up there. So an example of what our questionnaire is going to look like is each of these topics has goals underneath them. So for example, active lifestyles and recreation, one of the goals is to protect and manage open spaces and natural areas, to allow for a connected system of trails, recreation facilities, and scenic corridors. So we're going to be framing the questionnaire to the public as we're going to give them kind of a list of goals and see if there's anything that they don't agree with necessarily, and if they don't, list a reason why. And then we'll also give some strategies and implementation with each of those guiding principles as well. So we're framing the questionnaire to the public as kind of a, here they are there any that you don't agree with at this point in time? We'll also have a map that has future land use types on there that the public can scroll around on and make comments on there, and also a PDF document that has what those future land use types are. So we're trying to get the questionnaire out by this week. I kind of wanted to see if we could get some reaction from folks that go to the fairgrounds. I'm going to plan on going to put some flyers up there with just a QR code that people can scan so they can take the survey. I also had our GIS team go through and pull out all of the landowners in the unincorporated county that were more than 5 acres and were in the A10 zoning district. So that left us with about 2,000 landowners, which is quite a few. And so we're going to plan on sending postcards to those folks with just that, like I said, some information, that QR code as well, so they can take the survey. And planning on really targeting those smaller communities as well, like I've talked about before, to get their input, since, a lot of the planning in the unincorporated county with those areas definitely affects their future growth and what that looks like. So be happy, once we have the survey live, I'll email that out to all of you, so you can feel free to share it with your channels. I don't know how many of you do social media or anything, but you can share it on there. Take the survey. We'll have the full document up there as well. So if anyone has any specific questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to me and be happy to talk those over with you. So that's my update, and happy to answer any questions you have.
How long are you going to let this stew with our public before
I think
shut it down, or the answer, or?
I think we're planning on having it up for about a month. If we have, a lot of reaction to it and feel like we need to have it up for longer, we can definitely assess it from there. But our plan right now is a month. And then from there, our consultants will be drafting the plan, and so that'll be our next step. So
we are sending a mailer to those 2,000
landowners? Yep. So they'll get a kind of just postcard with some information and a link to the survey and everything. So, right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right.
Very much.
Thanks so
for all
much.
your work on that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Nice to know that we are moving in the direction of knowing where we're going.
Yes. Something.
That's a really mind-boggling statement.
Okay, Yogi Man.
I need that in the minutes. Where's Bryson? It's one of those deep thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you just remember to log me out. But okay. Thanks. Thank you.
We now have an update on the winery ordinance. Chris?
Cheers.
Oh, I put the public hearing up.
Not as cool as Paul. I did not bring any alcohol to our meeting today.
And I've
I
given it all away
apologize.
to some happy people, so. Although, the vote tonight, I probably should have kept a little bit of it.
Chris, that's visible.
I have been drinking out of my bottle back there.
Would you breathe in this little breathalyzer?
I've already had a drug test done last month. I'm okay. I think it's good for a month. So, brief update on the winery ordinance. So, as you recall, we had some action taken by the council I didn't put the date on here and I've forgotten the date, but that ordinance piece came with a requirement. 2 requirements, actually. 1, we needed to adopt a fee to accommodate that type of license. And 2, we needed to adopt a land use piece of code that would address what the winery looked like from that land use permitting side. So when we had the discussion, the council and staff, there was a discussion that we could go one of 2 routes. We decided to go the route of creating a new use type, which was a winery. The other piece that you'll see here, these questions, the council, I asked for some specific direction that they might want to give to the commission. And so those are the questions that are included there. I sent out a packet that broke down each of those questions and how those were addressed or discussed by the Planning Commission for the council's review. I haven't included that here. But that's what they used for reference to kind of tie down and get direction for what the council was thinking. So far, what the commission has done is they reviewed your priorities and they set that plan in place, a schedule basically to say when these things would be accomplished. So right now, we are about a month behind that schedule. And part of that just is kind of how that works sometimes. We had a meeting where an interested party came and kind of ran and took over the meeting to their own detriment. So they had lots to say and didn't read the information that was provided. After the meeting, they apologized and said, I should have read that stuff and I wouldn't have had as much to say. So we're a little behind, but that's within a month is not a big deal from my perspective. So right now, the Planning Commission has reached the same conclusion that the council did, that approach with creating a new use type is the correct approach. They are currently reviewing and commenting on the draft ordinance. We've been through it 1.5 times, I would say. And we did actually go and do a site visit out to the Slide Ridge folks in Mendon to look at their process and understand kind of the impacts or challenges they faced and got a better picture of what their business did and what that might look like in the county. And we had that pretty good attendance there with commissioners. We did post that. We would have had enough to, we had to post it so because we had enough to have a quorum, excuse me. And there is some information that came from that pertaining to what that code looks like so far as the number of cases it might be produced in a year. Basically, the industry standard breaks it into multiple segments. So it's from like up to 1,000, then from 1,000 up to 5,000, then from 5,000 straight to 50,000. So there's a pretty big jump at that third step. Most of those winery type uses occur on the lower spectrum there, on those smaller pieces. So talking with the interested parties, it looks like we'll be headed towards something that's on the smaller end, up to 5,000. Right now, the Planning Commission is getting back to me through the rest of this week. Then I'll redraft that last piece of ordinance, and it'll be prepared to go to them as a public hearing in September. So I anticipate that you will see something from the Planning Commission with a recommendation either in September or October, depending on if they're comfortable acting at this next meeting. But that's my update. If you have questions, I'm happy to address those, but we are moving through that process.
So just one comment then. Slide Ridge, the way anticipated that they would be interested in participating in this kind of an activity. And obviously it sounds like they are.
They are. What's interesting, what came out of that visit was what the county's doing isn't the heavy weight that they're trying to deal with at Slide Ridge. It's all the state regulations. Those are the biggest and heaviest weight. It's not what we're doing. So what I think they're currently producing, they said 20 to 30 cases a year. Now that's probably down from what they've done in the past because they tried to get into that state, going to different states, and each state has their different set of rules. It was just too challenging in their current operation. Another thing we found that was interesting is they've split their operation into 2 pieces. So they have an ag piece and they have a manufacturing piece. And so they recognized the need to split those pieces and look at them differently. So the commissions looked at that and understood that as we try to figure out where to draw the line between agricultural and manufacturing, they're seeing that even Slide Ridge has done that in their own operations without any coaching. It was just good business sense. So the commission's looking at that and trying to consider where that line makes sense. And I anticipate the recommendation will also reflect that. And I'll update those questions if there's additional comment from the commission to reflect those same thoughts or comments, so that that's all reflected and you have a full package when that's recommended up to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Chris, thank you. It sounds like you guys have worked really hard on this, and we appreciate that, and the timeliness of getting it done as well. So.
Thank you. I'm going to add one piece I forgot.
Oh, go ahead.
So the interested party has recommended someone who acts as a consultant for a lot of wineries. We're going to reach out to him. His name's Steve Martin. And I'm going to reach out to him, and then we may also include him as part of that public hearing if there's comment to be shared there. So if you do hear that, we are reaching out to those folks and making sure there's comment there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, between this and the slaughter facility, I think Chris and the planning commission have just done bang up jobs.
Yep.
Yeah, they have. Thanks for mentioning that, Paul. Okay, we need to move to item 9A, and I apologize, it was supposed to be at 5:30, and I forgot to circle it and draw arrows to it so that I wouldn't forget that we needed to move to at 5:30, but we're here now, so we have a public hearing on Ordinance 2021-19, the Cashview Estates rezone, a request to rezone 8.82 acres from the agricultural A10 zone to the rural RU2 zone located at 510 South, 5650 West near Mendon. Chris, do you want to tell us about that?
While I'm pulling this up, I'm going to give you a quick update on floodplain for those who were able to attend yesterday. I think they identified at that meeting there were 3 additions to the floodplain that weren't there before. In my discussion with them, they said it might be more than that. And so I asked our GIS team to run the numbers to figure out what was actually impacted. It's 157. So I'm glad we checked. It's a big difference.
That is parcels, not buildings, but that's parcels,
That's
right?
parcels. Structures is
Parcels?
62.
Right. Structures are 62 then.
Yeah.
That probably
And
wasn't.
so we'll be reaching out to those communities, working with Lauren and our countywide planning group. We're going to send that information to those folks so they can communicate with their property owners that may be affected.
Thank you, Chris. That's good to know. Thanks for following up on that.
Thanks for your patience. Thank you. I'll put this map up on the screen so we can see it, if that's helpful. So the parcel we're referring to is here, that kind of backwards L shape. That back off so we can see it. Center of the screen. So this is a request from the A10 zone to the RU2 zone. It's an 8.82 acre parcel. You can see it's just north and east of Mendon City. We did reach out with public comment. We didn't hear anything back from Mendon City in writing or verbally, so I don't have feedback there to direct or give information to the council on. Staff has reviewed this and Planning Commission has reviewed this. Staff made a recommendation for denial based on the noted conclusions that are included in the staff report. Those conclusions are specifically an accurate description of the subject property has not been provided. And secondly, the subject property is not appropriately served by suitable public roads. We don't have specifics such as a future land use map or anything of that nature to drive where these zones might be appropriate. So we've been trying to be very context specific to the properties. Now you'll recall in the past, staff has not provided a recommendation for RU2 and RU5 zones. We've made an adjustment there, and where it's clear that there needs to be a recommendation, staff feels appropriate to make a recommendation to council. So in the case where the roads are not suitable, it feels appropriate that we should make some sort of recommendation there, not just stand on the sidelines. So we made that recommendation to the Planning Commission. They reviewed the same. They made a unanimous decision to recommend denial to the County Council for this request to rezone it to the RU2 zone. Presently, the property could allow the home that's there, that 8.82 parcels, 8.82 acres, allows up to one single-family home. Rezone to the RU2 zone would allow up to 4 homes. So on a road that's already substandard, that would not be appropriate. And we don't have any other indication for what may be occurring in the area. So that's staff and Planning Commission's recommendation to the council.
Thank you, Chris. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this proposal? Yeah, please come up here and state your name and talk to the council.
So I'm Matt Brown. So this is us that have applied for it. I guess I can just explain a little more what we're looking at if we were to do it. We would basically, where the L jog, we'd just cut it off square and then divide it into 3 1.5 acre parcels on the lane into the house. And on the county, the one note about there's not an accurate property description. What happened there is in February, we had the land surveyed, and based on different survey points, they found different measurements. And so we ended up, the Willie zone, most everything around us, and then one other neighbor, we all came together and met and adjusted the property lines accordingly. And so all that's been submitted, and I talked to the county is it the surveyor? Recorder, yeah, Devron. And he said they just have a backlog, and so he said we're working on it. But anyway, it's all been, the survey and everything's all been updated, and so it's actually 8.56 instead of 8.82. So we lost about 1/4 acre in solving that. But anyway, so that's kind of where it's at. We've pulled power down and things that way are all there. So anyway, I don't know if you have any questions, but.
So this is your home right there in that corner of the L?
That's right.
Straight east of there, there's a kind of like 2 sliver. What are they all about?
So the Willies own that. What it is, it's almost like they put the railroad in and it broke up the parcel. So that piece actually goes to the piece directly east of where our house is. That's all one parcel. But it's like the railway broke it up. So it's just it's about 3.5 acres right there, just right below. There's about probably 120, 150 feet between there and the fence to the road, where the railroad goes through right there. So.
Is that the railroad track that's the big, long?
Yes. Right where 400, you see the 400 south, it goes right through there. So they'll go out to JBS like twice a week. It kind of just puts through there. So
whereabouts is the Menden Road from this? I'm having a hard time.
So Menden Road, that's the subdivision. You can see if you're familiar with the subdivision, if you come out Menden Road and you hit the 4-way stop. Here's the cursor. Okay, so see the mouse. So whoops. Can we slide this up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't. I got a big glare.
So there's Menden Road right here. It comes up and hits the 4-way stop.
Right.
And then you go through the subdivision, and then right here you hit the county road, and it just comes out and down. And then it dead ends out here. If you're familiar with A&R Fabrication, that's the end of the road right here.
Whereabouts is the Loveland Machine Shop? Isn't that?
That's it. That's the machine shop right there.
Right there where you just. Right
That's
there.
it. So that's the end of where the county services is right.
Does that go all the way through there?
It doesn't. It dead ends at.
I was going to say, I thought in my travels that there was a dead end there somewhere.
Yeah, so dead ends right there at the machine shop. They've got a gate up.
They come in from the north to the south, don't they?
No, they come in that road. So that's how the semis and everything that are hauling material out there come right by our house and out right to there.
Okay.
and they've got to turn around. So all their deliveries come down that county road. So.
Any other questions for Matt? Thank you, Matt.
So one last comment. The other question would be if it is a deny, what would be required to make it be approved type of thing would be my question. So.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Want to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, and we'll have that in a minute on our agenda. The next public hearing is for Resolution 2021-16, a proposal to declare 2 county-owned plots in the Logan City Cemetery to be surplus property, and on the related Resolution 2021-16, which would approve disposal of those plots by trading them for 2 other privately owned plots in the Logan City Cemetery. Tony, did you want to present on this, or would it be John?
John?
Is it John?
That's right, you just got kicked out of your job.
He saw this on the schedule and just booked out of here.
He didn't want to deal with the hard stuff today.
Hey, tell Mrs. Life or Death.
That's what we were worried about.
Had to catch someone to say thanks.
So we're in the public hearing about the cemetery plots. Can you describe what this
Yeah,
is about?
we talked about this with you a couple of meetings ago, that we discovered the county has cemetery plots that we weren't aware of. We discovered that due to an inquiry from a family that found out that the plots right next to theirs, their family plots, were owned by the county. They wondered about the option of purchasing plots from the county, and rather than do that, we've worked out with the cemetery and the family that the family would purchase 2 other plots, and then the county could surplus the 2 next to theirs, and then we would just swap. So we've made those arrangements with the county, or with the cemetery. Cemetery is helping us with paperwork. The family's on board. And if you still feel good about that, this would be a resolution to surplus those 2 particular plots, and we would pick up 2 others in their place.
Thank you, John. Is there anyone here who wants to comment on this resolution?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we've closed that public hearing. We'll now move on to number 10, pending action. Oh, I'm sorry, 11, initial proposals for consideration of action. And 11A, so this is the Cash View Estates rezone that we just were presented with. Council, we can take action on this tonight by waiving the rules, or we can let it go on the next agenda. Is there any discussion or any other questions about it?
Well, I think in order to follow what we have done in the past and be consistent, that we would follow what the planning and zoning recommended, and that this be denied. So I would make a motion and waive the rules that we deny this request.
Well, I got to second it to keep my unblemished record of following the planning commission's recommendation.
I didn't know that was unblemished. Well, I'm gonna have to check up, I'm gonna check
There
you on
might
that.
be one, there might be a smidge of a blemish, but it's a pretty clear complexion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to deny the Cash View Estates rezone request to rezone about 8 acres from agriculture to RU2. Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously, so we have denied that rezone. I guess if you want to, Matt, you could talk with Chris about what else maybe you could do with that property. Obviously, the issue is the road issue. that needs to be remedied. So that would be my suggestion for you. So, okay, thank you. Okay, now 11B. This is the resolution on the cemetery plots.
Well, Madam Chair, I'd make a motion that we waive the rules and approve Resolution 2021-16 to swap out those plots.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2021-16, in which the county will swap some cemetery lots. Is there any further discussion?
Only if they're empty.
A motion to amend?
I would take that friendly emotion for sure.
You never know.
That's a friendly motion. That's pretty good. Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? I abstain. I didn't get a chance to read.
I didn't hear from you, Barbara. What was
Barbara, what was your vote on that?
I voted aye.
Okay, so the motion carries with one abstention, myself, all the rest ayes. Okay, awesome. Okay, we will move to item 12, other business. So a reminder that we have the swearing-in ceremony for John Luthi. There's John. Congratulations, John.
Hey, with all the work you did on Winery, you providing wine tomorrow?
You haven't passed the ordinance yet.
He's quick.
Always a roadblock, right?
He's fast, can't trick him.
Well,
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'll
Yes.
just say I won't be able to be there tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Carl. This will be at 12:30 here in the council chambers, and I have asked Judge Cannell if he would do the swearing in, and he's agreed to that, so.
I know that Janine has put together a little bit of refreshment deal because she's involved my wife, so everybody come and enjoy the refreshment.
That's right, thank you for mentioning that, and appreciate Janine and her work. So yeah, there'll be a little party afterwards.
Salmon and cheese on crackers, is that what you're?
Cheese and crackers, yep.
But no wine.
Paul's gonna bring the wine.
Okay, Paul, you have an assignment. Okay, the Cache County Fair has been mentioned, and the rodeo is this week. It should be a good time.
Looking forward to that. One of the longest running fairs in Utah.
It's a great event. I was there today. I got to help judge the 4-H, and it's just so fun to see what those kids come up with and what they do and what their talents are, and lots of good volunteers down there helping, and should be a really great event.
If you ever want a real experience, be a dairy farmer with a dairy background and then be asked to judge the goats at Wyoming State Fair. First thing you ask is, well, how do you judge a goat? I'm sure I destroyed it, but I did the best I could.
That's why I like judging 4-H, because mostly you just write positive things that you like about it, and, you know.
That was a pretty goat.
Yeah, so you could write that. Very colorful or whatever, you know. It's great. Okay, on next Wednesday, the 18th, we have the CVT bus rodeo from 10:30 to 1:30 at the Logan Cache Airport, and they've asked for a count. I'd like to get that turned in tomorrow. So who's able to attend that event?
Now, I can come for a part of it, but I'll have to leave
Okay,
early.
And I'm not able to come at all.
okay,
I will not be able to attend, Gina.
okay, thanks, Barbara.
I will try, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay,
I won't be able to.
I won't be able to either.
okay. And I'm gonna go to that, so.
How fast can we go? Then that'll determine if I come.
They're doing like speed. They're
Yes.
gonna be-
I know.
It's gonna be 50, all you do is
Then
just
I'm
flip.
going.
Can't go over 55.
If we wreck, we're covered liability-wise, right?
Ask the attorney.
Yeah, ask the attorney that question, I don't know. David Zook, are you gonna attend that?
Yeah, I'll be there. Janine has my name.
Okay. I'll let them know, because they sent an email today, so. Great. I think it's gonna be cool and fun. Okay, the Wellsville Founder's Day Parade. Wow, I can't believe we're already thinking that far ahead, but that's gonna be September 6th. That's Labor Day. 10 a.m. David Zook, Carl Nolan, Barbara, maybe? Any other takers?
I'll be there.
I'll probably be there too.
Okay,
Sweet, party in Wellsville, man.
yeah,
This is our best attendance of a parade yet this year, I think.
that's right.
Weren't you getting after us for not being there the last time? So we're trying to
Yeah.
That's
listen to your
right.
admonitions.
Is there enough magnetic space on your truck, David, to get all these names?
Put some extensions up.
All right.
Let's put a governor on that truck this time so it don't run so fast.
Paul, don't bring the wine, it'll already be there.
Exactly.
Wellsville.
Wellsville provides their own.
All I'm trying to do is make those folks legal down there. That's all I'm trying to do.
No, what I thought you'd say.
Oh, my gosh. Janine, have
We
you
share.
heard anything about the Apple Days? I think you wanted us to come to that, but I said to talk to you. Okay. I will contact Shelley and ask her about that.
I'm not so sure the Apple Days hasn't already had, isn't that up in River Heights? And that's
Yeah, I thought it
usually-
was August. Yeah, I suddenly thought of
Maybe
it and
it's
went.
later, I don't know.
Okay, I'll contact Shelley and ask her. She's the one who asked. Okay, the council summer social is Saturday, September 11th, 5 p.m. at John White's. Barbara, do you want to tell us anything about that?
Other than, I'm not sure for sure what we're having to eat, but, I need to get in contact with John and I'll call and visit with him a little bit more and I'll have a better report next meeting.
Prime rib and fish.
Yep. Now, Gordon did ask, do we want the shrimp boiled with the prime rib, or do you just want the trout and the prime rib?
Well, I think, Barbara, I've thought about that since you and I spoke a day or so ago. I think that if we're gonna go to the White Trout Farm, we better honor the trout. And we can go,
Okay.
we can go to the slough deck and do shrimp boil some other time. You knew that's what that was called right there. That's called the Hiram Slough, right there.
Okay.
It doesn't sound as charming as it actually
That's
is.
what we'll plan on, and I'll get in touch with John and get that squared away, and I'll be making assignments for the other part of the meal.
Great. Barbara, thanks so much for doing that.
Oh, no problem, I'm glad to do it. We're gonna go with probably where it's on 9/11, we're gonna go with the patriotic theme, so,
Sounds like a great
Yeah.
idea.
yeah. Okay, very good, thanks, guys
Thank you. Okay.
and ladies.
We are having the Usac Fall Conference, September 14th through the 16th in Midway. We have David Zook, myself, Carl, and Paul. Anybody else want to attend that?
I want to because it's always a good one, but
Or able to?
I'm not able to. I've gone fishing.
Okay.
I already told you you couldn't use that.
Yeah, he already used that excuse up.
Please let me.
Okay, the USU Homecoming Parade. Oh, I'm sorry, Janine.
Falls Lodge, is that where you're at?
Okay.
There is a spouse dinner. Is there anyone that's wanting that? Because that's a separate registration.
Oh,
Okay,
I don't.
all right.
Not sure where.
When David Zook does. Oh,
Up River Heights Festival is August 27th and 28th.
August 27th, 28th.
Coming up.
Okay.
August?
Thank you for looking that up. I'll contact Shelley and ask her about it, see if they still want us to come.
30 days after they press it with 3 days.
Okay, the USU Homecoming Parade is Saturday, October 23rd at 10 a.m. You have David Zook, Carl, Gina, Barbara. Anyone else?
Oh, you need to be in that.
I'll have to look at that.
That is a fun parade. It is.
Rained on us last time.
That was still a fun parade.
I guess that was sort of fun.
Yeah, it
At
was
the end.
very memorable.
I might be there, but I'll need to check the schedule.
Okay, and the UAC Annual Convention is in November, 9th through the 12th in St. George. Trying to count those up. Nolan and Gordon, are you interested in going?
We're planning on being there.
Okay. Nolan?
Now, yes.
Okay. Great. That should be a good time.
100%.
As long as there's some room for remedial classes, I can.
Okay, we'll now move to item number 13, council member reports. David Erickson, start with you.
I don't have anything, thanks.
Thanks.
I might say that I'm really glad we got through with the county attorney. That's no fun to have the public look at you and you have to pick somebody when you got three good people. It just is hard.
So you get paid the big bucks.
I was just saying those big bucks we were talking about
Get paid those
yesterday.
big bucks.
I think I've got the complete wrong definition of big.
I want you to, Paul, I got a comment on that, and it was interesting. They showed the graph of the elected officials of every other county in the state of Utah. And if you double what we're being compensated, we're still far below the next county. Yep. And that's comparing to the ones that are in a council form of government. So I tried hard last year to help us along, and it didn't go very far. And so anyway, she maybe will bring that graph and show us, but it was funny. The attorney here, this little guy right here, he made fun of me while we were there. Anyway, it is what it is.
Quit riding your bike, become a big guy.
I know.
Carl, do you have anything?
Nothing. Well, I was trying to look up the date. They are having a homeless survey in September to try and map out the number of homeless people that are in Cache County. And the report is that the number is increasing. So something to be aware of, I guess. But, I'll get that date and then send it out to everybody.
That would be great.
If you want to participate in it.
That would be great. Thank you, Carl. Anything else?
No?
Okay. Paul?
Just a quick update on the kind of COVID response committee. I've sent the invitations out to folks, heard back from some of them. I'm trying to wrap that up this week and hopefully have the first, just a couple meetings by the end of this month. Thinking shooting for August 30th is what I'm hopeful for. You got that from me. So try to get some folks there, and if we can't, we haven't had responses from some of the people I'd really like to hear from to get the data. I mean, that's been one thing in this whole thing, that the data and the information that you look at has been hugely important, and I can't believe we don't have better data. So I'm hopeful the folks can respond so we can get that and really have a productive conversation about it.
Thank you, Paul. Nolan?
I don't have anything.
Okay. David, you have something else?
Just want to express gratitude and appreciation to Tony Barrett for serving as our interim county attorney.
Yeah, thank you.
You're fired.
The question is, have you left everything smooth and clean then? John?
I left it in the shambles it became. No, those things are good. But there's room to grow, and Gordy pointed that out. I think that is a very good point. I think this is an opportunity for the county to grow on the civil side, which I think you're going to see it grow inbound. So it's a good opportunity.
Great. Barbara, did you have anything to add?
Yes, I do, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I just wanted to say how thankful I am that we have the freedom to not have mandated to us what we should do. My husband and I right now have COVID, but we still have that freedom to choose what we want and do what we know is best for us. And I'm grateful that we have that freedom. And we are going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. But I am so grateful to live in a place where we have the freedoms that we enjoy.
Barbara, did your husband make it home today?
No, the oxygen levels didn't get back up where they need to be. And I found out this morning that I am positive also. So we're we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do when he gets home, so we don't keep passing it back and forth between each other, so. It's all good, and the Lord will watch over us.
Well, I'm glad to welcome you to the alumni.
Yeah, Carl, you know what it's like.
I know what it's like, yep.
Get better. You are the most positive person I know.
Yep.
Very true. Thank you.
Me too.
Thank you. I will, I'll get
Oh,
there.
I meant COVID positive. Sorry, Barbara.
Janine's had it too.
But you are positive.
Dave, okay.
Oh, you gotta laugh. Once in a
Okay,
while.
I'll get there. Thank you guys, I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Barbara.
If I could add one more thing.
Yes.
Salt Lake County just announced a mask mandate for students 12 and under. They just did that this evening.
The council passed it?
12 and under?
No, the health
Angela-
department.
Angela Dunn did,
Oh.
and then Jenny Wilson didn't squash it, so it's going to the council now.
That'll be interesting to see
Well,
what
that
happens.
means we'll get a lot more people moving up here from Salt Lake now.
I think we will.
Yep.
There goes our.
Okay, well, I didn't have anything else, and seeing no further business on the agenda, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Gina, good job.